Danny's World is a game on Roblox mainly about where you team up with other people in order to extract machines and avoid twisteds. Though Danny's World also has a roleplay mode where you can become any toon or twisted and do roleplays with friends or strangers. Although you can just freely roleplay in a public server with no issue, most people like to host roleplay where you friend them and join their private server, mainly so you can roleplay freely without interruptions. Now there's lots of variety in roleplays that people host, and really each roleplay has something exclusive or special about it. So that's where I got the idea to cover every single roleplay in Danny's World and rank them on a tier list. Note that only the roleplays I've seen and know are covered in this video. If there's a roleplay I missed, feel free to inform me in the comments down below on what it is. I also don't think any roleplay here is bad or terrible, so I will not be making any tier below alright. And with all that being said, let's get into the video. Infection roleplays are probably one of the most basic roleplays you can do. They're pretty much exactly what the name says. You get infected and turn into a twisted that tries to attack and infect others. They're mainly done with Dandy infecting everyone, but I honestly prefer if Dandy doesn't infect and people turn twisted in their own unique ways. Now this is a pretty good roleplay for what it's meant to do, and you can turn infection roleplays into some type of crazy lore or bizarre boss fight with the main villain, which is usually Dandy. Overall, I'm going to say it's fun tier. Next up are ship roleplays. Now personally, I'm not really a fan of ships, but I will not rank this roleplay poorly because of that. I would just go off of the average Dandy's World player. Ship roleplays are essentially a roleplay where you have another toon you are shipped with. Usually you and this toon are roommates and you interact quite a lot during the roleplay. For some reason, ship roleplays usually don't allow twisted, and it's mainly focused around relationship and daily toon life. This roleplay is pretty okay as long as there's not any freakiness, and I can definitely see why it's commonly hosted. If you don't really want the horror or thrill of infection, you can gladly join ship roleplays for a much better and calm choice. And really, you can ask to be shipless if you want to, which the host usually won't decline. I'll say good tier. Now for sleepover roleplays, and I honestly never found the appeal of these ones. It's similar to a ship roleplay, but not as much shipping involved. It's also involved around the aspect of daily toon life and interactions, and overall is a pretty good one for those who want to be simple. But I don't really understand why it's called a sleepover roleplay, as there's not really any sleepover aspect involved whatsoever. Maybe when it turns nighttime that all changes, but from the majority of sleepover roleplays I've done, there's just no aspect involving a sleepover in the slightest. I won't judge this roleplay too hard since it can still be good, but the best I'll give it for now is good tier. Similar to infection roleplays, school roleplays are just what the name sounds like. It's where you're in a school and there's teachers, students, etc. Although this roleplay might seem dull and boring at first, you can do some pretty interesting ideas with it. And really, I guess it's some sort of education in Danny's World, so there's that. This is also one of the few roleplays where the majority of it does not take place in the Toon Rooms map. Instead, the projector room is more commonly used for these roleplays. Overall, I'll say alright tier. It's good for what it is, but it just doesn't have as much as the other roleplays in my opinion. Next up are lab roleplays, and there's a lot to cover about these ones. These roleplays are primarily focused on the whole scientist and subject aspects, with toons and twisteds respectively. Toons basically gather research and do tests on the twisted, while the twisted are locked in cages and are hurt if they fail to comply with any of the toon scientist demands. Something crazy also always ends up happening near the end of these roleplays, where the subjects might go berserk and attack all the scientists, which I find really cool. This roleplay is very unique and fun from what I can see, and I think it deserves to be in the fun tier because of that. We're going to be getting into the more rare roleplays from now on, starting with survival roleplays. These are roleplays where Garden View is usually destroyed in some sort of way, and all the toons are stranded in the wild with literally nothing left as their home. So they just set off on a journey to basically just survive outside of Garden View in the wild and not die. This roleplay is also really unique because there's usually roles, statuses, and more to each character, and I think it's honestly really fun to act out. This might be our very first masterpiece tier roleplay, because there's just so much you can do with a survival roleplay than you might realize. You can basically create any scenario you want, and in my opinion, it's really fun. Now, I'll be ranking these two at the same time as they're mainly exact opposites of each other. Birthday roleplays are mainly focused on one specific toon, with it being their birthday. Gifts, cake, presents are given, and the birthday toon is basically meant to have a fun time. Sometimes, though, birthday roleplays can be where you forget about their birthday, and the birthday tune basically tries to get everyone to remember. That's all I can gather from this roleplay, and I'll be ranking it in good tier. The other roleplay, Bad Day roleplays, are the opposite of these ones, where it's really just the tune's unlucky or bad day, where nothing goes right for them and it's pretty miserable. However, I think these ones are slightly better than the birthday roleplays just because there's slightly more that you can do with them. I'll be ranking these in good tier as well, but above the birthday roleplay. Now, run roleplays are very similar to the actual game. You extract machines and avoid twisteds, but it's in roleplay mode instead. I'd say this roleplay can be good if you want to give the twisted more personality and not just have them try to kill you the moment they spot you like in the real game, or just as a way to make the main game more interesting in a way. And instead of the main goal being to get to the highest floor possible, the goal in a run roleplay might be slightly different. I'd say this roleplay is okay, but you can play the main game at any time and communicate there, and it's really rare to find someone actually hosting one of these too, so unfortunately I'll just have to say alright here for this one. Yandere roleplays are again, just like the name suggests. These might seem similar to ship roleplays at first, but from what I can tell, they're actually really different. Instead of everyone being paired into a ship, one tune is a yandere for another. If you don't know what a yandere is, it's basically someone with a deep obsession with their love interest. So yeah, you might already know where these types of roleplays can head to. I think the main goal of the side tunes is to stop the yandere and protect their interest from their possessive and evil behavior, but I don't know too much about these roleplays considering I don't really join them. I'll say good tier though, as it can present some horror and suspense in a way. Now, this last roleplay isn't actually a roleplay, but mainly a big variety of roleplays that can be it specifically. It can be really any type of roleplay, like a circus trio roleplay, a V's game show roleplay, or maybe even an event tune roleplay, etc. Or maybe even a roleplay hinting at lore with Arthur and Delilah. Now, I can't exactly rank these as there's very much variety of these specific roleplays that makes them not able to rank on this tier list without them being separate. So really, I'll leave this one up for debate. And that's all the roleplays in Danny's World that I know of ranked. At the end of the day, some people have their opinions, and yours and my tier list might not be the exact same. But really, if you want to share your opinion in the comments, then feel free to, as I'd love to hear what you guys think about everything you can do in roleplay mode. See you next video.